Ladies and gentlemen, listen up. The battle you're fighting is not out there. It's in here. Your mind is the command center of your life, and if you don't control it, something or someone else will. You see, most people walk around like prisoners, shackled by their own thoughts, chained to their own fears, enslaved by their own excuses. They react to life instead of creating it. They let circumstances dictate their emotions, their energy, their future. And that, my friend, is a recipe for a mediocre existence. If you want to win in life, you must master the one thing that controls everything, your mind. Your mind is the most powerful tool you own. It can create your destiny or destroy your dreams. It can make you unstoppable or leave you broken. The question is, are you using it to build or to break? Are you programming yourself for success or failure? Because let me tell you something, your thoughts are shaping your life every single day. If you think small, you'll live small. If you focus on problems, you'll attract more of them. But if you decide right now that you are in control, that you will program your mind for greatness, everything changes. Most people fail before they even start because they've already lost the battle in their mind. They say, I can't do this, I'm not good enough, I'll never make it. That's not reality. That's a story they've repeated so many times that has become their truth. But here's the good news. You can rewrite that story. The mind is like a muscle. It grows stronger the more you use it. If you start feeding it new, empowering beliefs, if you tell yourself, I am capable, I am worthy, I will find a way, your brain starts to believe it. And once you believe it, you start acting on it. And when you act on it, you create the life you were meant for. Your mind controls everything. It is the engine behind every decision you make, every action you take, and every outcome you experience. Your thoughts shape your emotions influence your actions, and your actions create your reality. If you want to change your life, you must first change your mind. Most people walk through life unaware of how much power they truly have. They let their thoughts run on autopilot, reacting to whatever life throws their way. They believe that success, happiness, and fulfillment are dictated by external circumstances. But the truth is, everything you need is already inside you. The problem is, if you don't take control of your mind, something or someone else will. From the moment you wake up, your mind is processing thousands of thoughts. Some of them are empowering, but most are habitual and conditioned by your past experiences. Your environment, your upbringing, and the people around you have programmed certain beliefs into your subconscious. These beliefs dictate how you see yourself and the world. If you were raised in an environment where scarcity was the norm, your mind is wired to expect lack. If you were surrounded by negativity, your mind is conditioned to focus on problems instead of solutions. But just because your mind has been programmed a certain way doesn't mean you have to stay that way. The human brain is adaptable. You have the ability to rewire it, to reshape the way you think, and to take back control. The first step to mastering your mind is awareness. Most people never stop to analyze their thoughts. They allow negative self-talk, fear, and doubt to dominate their mental space without questioning where these thoughts come from. But when you become aware of your thoughts, you gain the power to change them. You can observe your patterns, recognize destructive thinking, and consciously replace it with empowering beliefs. You must learn to guard your mind as if it were the most valuable asset you own, because it is. Every thought you allow in has the potential to shape your future. If you allow fear and doubt to take over, they will control your decisions. If you fill your mind with confidence and belief, you will take actions that lead to success. Most people let their emotions dictate their actions. They wait to feel motivated before they do something. They wait until conditions are perfect before they take the first step. But if you let your emotions control your mind, you will never achieve your full potential. Your emotions are temporary, but your mind can be trained to push through any feeling, any circumstance, and any obstacle. The most successful people in the world don't operate based on how they feel in the moment. They operate based on the standards they set for themselves. They have trained their minds to do what needs to be done, regardless of whether they feel like it. Training your mind requires discipline. It's not something you do once and expect permanent change. It's a daily practice. Just like training your body in the gym, training your mind requires consistent effort. You must be intentional about what you expose yourself to. The books you read, the people you surround yourself with, and the content you consume all play a role in shaping your mindset. If you constantly expose yourself to negativity, your mind will absorb it. If you surround yourself with people who complain, you will adopt the same mindset. But if you immerse yourself in positive influences, in powerful ideas, and in people who push you to be better, your mind will begin to shift. Your mind is designed to keep you safe. It wants to avoid pain, discomfort, and risk. This is why most people stay in their comfort zones. Their mind convinces them that staying where they are is safer than pursuing something greater. But the comfort zone is where dreams die. Growth only happens when you push past the mental barriers that are trying to hold you back. Your mind will come up with every excuse to keep you from stepping into the unknown. It will tell you that you're not ready, that you don't have what it takes, that you will fail. But these are just stories. They are not reality. You have the power to rewrite these stories. You have the power to decide what you believe and what you act on. The moment you take control of your mind, everything changes. You stop reacting to life and start creating it. You stop allowing fear to dictate your choices and start making decisions based on your vision. You become unstoppable because nothing outside of you has power over you anymore. It all begins in your mind. When you learn to master it, you gain control over your destiny. Most people don't realize that their greatest limitations are not external, but internal. It's not the world that holds them back, not their circumstances, not their past, but their own beliefs. What you believe about yourself and the world around you determines every choice you make, every risk you take, and ultimately the quality of life you experience. Your beliefs are the foundation of your reality. If your foundation is weak, everything you try to build will crumble. If your foundation is strong, there is no limit to what you can create. The challenge is that most people never question the beliefs they have been carrying. They assume that what they believe is the truth, when in reality, it is nothing more than a conditioned perspective shaped by their past experiences, the people they've been surrounded by, and the messages they have absorbed over time. From the moment you are born, your mind is being programmed. Your parents, teachers, society, and media all play a role in shaping the way you see yourself and the world. If you grow up in an environment where you are constantly told that money is hard to make, you develop a belief that financial success is difficult to achieve. If you are surrounded by people who always talk about how unfair life is, you start to believe that life is something that happens to you rather than something you create. These beliefs operate in the background of your mind like software running a computer. They dictate how you respond to challenges, how you pursue opportunities, and how much you allow yourself to achieve. The problem is that most of these beliefs were never consciously chosen by you. They were absorbed, they were inherited, they were handed to you. And without realizing it, you accepted them as truth. The first step to challenging limiting beliefs is recognizing that they exist. Most people are so attached to their beliefs that they don't even consider the possibility that they might be wrong. They defend their limitations without realizing that they are doing it. They say things like, "I've always been this way," or "That's just who I am," or "It's not possible for someone like me." These statements are not facts. They are beliefs that have been repeated so many times that they have become part of a person's identity. But identity is not fixed. It is something that can be shaped, molded, and changed at any moment. The only thing keeping you stuck in your current identity is your commitment to the beliefs that define it. One of the biggest limiting beliefs people carry is the idea that their past defines their future. They look at their failures, their mistakes, and the things that didn't work out and use them as evidence for why they can't succeed. But the past only has power over you if you allow it to. The most successful people in the world have failed more times than most people have even tried. They didn't let their failures define them because they didn't see them as proof of their limitations. They saw them as lessons, as stepping stones, as opportunities to grow. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is not intelligence, talent, or luck. It is the belief that they have the power to create a different future regardless of what has happened before. Another common limiting belief is the fear of what other people think. So many people hold themselves back not because they aren't capable, but because they are afraid of judgment, rejection, or criticism. They want to take risks, but they hesitate because they don't want to look foolish. They want to chase their dreams, but they are paralyzed by the thought of failing in front of others. This fear is rooted in a deep-seated belief that other people's opinions determine their worth. But the truth is, no matter what you do, there will always be someone who disapproves, who doubts, who criticizes. You can either let that stop you, or you can decide that your vision is more important than their opinions. The people who achieve extraordinary success are not the ones who are free from fear. They are the ones who refuse to let fear dictate their actions. Many people also carry the belief that they are not good enough. This belief shows up in different ways. It can look like perfectionism, always waiting for the right moment, always feeling like more preparation is needed. It can look like procrastination, avoiding action because deep down there is doubt about whether success is possible. It can look like self-sabotage, pushing away opportunities because of a subconscious belief that they don't deserve them. This belief is often rooted in childhood experiences, in moments where someone made them feel like they weren't enough. But no matter where it came from, it does not have to define what is possible moving forward. The truth is, worthiness is not something that is earned. It is something that is claimed. The moment you decide that you are enough exactly as you are, you begin to act differently. And when you act differently, your results change. Beliefs are nothing more than thoughts that have been reinforced over time. The only reason a limiting belief feels so real is because it has been repeated so often. But just as beliefs are created, they can be replaced. The process of changing a belief starts with questioning it. Ask yourself, is this belief true? Where did it come from? Who taught me this? What if I believed the opposite? The moment you start questioning a belief, you weaken its grip on you. The moment you introduce doubt, you open the door for a new perspective. The brain is constantly looking for evidence to support what it already believes. If you believe you are incapable, your brain will highlight every moment that reinforces that belief. But if you shift your belief to I am capable, your brain will start finding evidence for that instead. The next step is to actively replace old beliefs with new, empowering ones. This is not something that happens overnight. It requires repetition, just like the old beliefs were repeated. Every day you must consciously choose the beliefs that serve you. You must affirm them, write them down, speak them out loud, and most importantly, act in alignment with them. Belief alone is not enough. Action is what cements a belief into reality. When you act as if something is true, your brain starts to accept it as truth. The more you step into the identity of someone who is capable, worthy, and unstoppable, the more you become that person. Your beliefs are the blueprint for your life. If the blueprint is flawed, no matter how much effort you put in, you will always hit a ceiling. The only way to break through that ceiling is to redesign the blueprint. That starts with becoming aware of what you believe, questioning the limitations you have accepted, and consciously choosing new beliefs that align with the life you want to create. The mind is powerful, but you are the one in control of what it believes. Training your mind is not a one-time event. It is a daily practice, a lifelong commitment to strengthening your mental muscles so that you can perform at your highest level regardless of the circumstances around you. Just like an athlete trains their body, you must train your mind. Your thoughts, emotions, and focus must be conditioned every single day. Most people don't realize that their mind is like a muscle. If you don't train it, it will default to weakness. It will take the path of least resistance, giving in to fear, doubt, and negativity. The reason so many people struggle with consistency, discipline, and resilience is because they have never deliberately trained their minds to be strong. They have let their emotions dictate their actions instead of mastering their emotions. They have allowed external events to control their internal state instead of taking charge of their mental framework. Your mind responds to what you feed it. If you feed it doubt, it will find more reasons to doubt. If you feed it fear, it will amplify that fear. If you feed it strength, power, and certainty, it will grow stronger. Every day, you are reinforcing patterns in your brain. The more you repeat a thought, the stronger that neural pathway becomes. This is why negative thinking becomes habitual for so many people. They have trained their minds without realizing it to default to self-doubt, excuses, and hesitation. But the same way negative patterns are created, they can also be replaced with new, empowering patterns. You must become intentional about what you allow to take root in your mind. You must guard it like a fortress, letting in only the thoughts that serve you and rejecting the ones that weaken you. So, one of the most powerful ways to train your mind is through repetition. Whatever you repeat consistently becomes ingrained in your subconscious. This is why affirmations, visualization, and mental conditioning work. They are not just feel-good exercises, they are tools that reprogram your mind for success. When you repeatedly tell yourself, I am strong, I am capable, I will find a way, your brain starts to accept these statements as truth. Over time, your identity shifts. You stop seeing yourself as someone who struggles and start seeing yourself as someone who overcomes. But just saying these things isn't enough. You must back them up with action. Every time you push through resistance, you are training your mind to associate discomfort with growth rather than avoidance. Every time you do something difficult, your mind learns that you can handle more than you thought. Mental training also requires eliminating the distractions and influences that weaken you. Your environment plays a huge role in shaping your thoughts. If you constantly surround yourself with negativity, negative people, negative media, negative conversations, your mind will absorb it. It doesn't matter how strong you think you are, if you are constantly exposed to toxic influences, they will seep into your thinking. This is why it is crucial to be intentional about your environment. Who are you spending time with? What are you consuming mentally, emotionally, and spiritually? What messages are you reinforcing daily? If you want to develop an unstoppable mind, you must create an environment that supports it. You must immerse yourself in positive, empowering content. You must surround yourself with people who challenge you to grow rather than keep you stagnant. You must feed your mind with the information, inspiration, and energy that align with your goals. Another critical part of training your mind is learning to control your focus. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. Most people focus on what they don't want instead of what they do want. They focus on their problems instead of solutions. They focus on fear instead of possibility. The mind magnifies whatever it is directed toward. If you constantly focus on what is wrong, your brain will find more evidence to support that perspective. But if you train yourself to focus on opportunities, progress, and growth, your brain will filter the world through that lens. This is not about ignoring reality or pretending challenges don't exist. It is about choosing a perspective that empowers you rather than weakens you. It is about directing your mind towards solutions rather than dwelling on obstacles. To train your mind, you must also learn to push through resistance. Growth does not happen in comfort. Every time you push past the point where most people quit, you are strengthening your mental endurance. Most people give up when things get hard because they have conditioned themselves to avoid discomfort. But the most successful people have trained themselves to lean into discomfort, to embrace the struggle because they know that is where growth happens. They don't wait until they feel like it. They don't wait for motivation. They act in spite of their feelings. They have trained their minds to override emotions and execute regardless of how they feel in the moment. This is what separates those who achieve greatness from those who stay stuck. It is not about talent, luck, or intelligence. It is about mental conditioning. Developing mental toughness also requires mastering your emotions. Emotions are powerful, but they should not control you. Most people let their emotions dictate their actions, which is why they struggle with consistency. They wake up feeling tired, so they skip their commitments. They feel afraid, so they avoid taking risks. They feel discouraged, so they give up. But emotions are temporary. They come and go. If you let them control you, you will always be at the mercy of your feelings. The key is to acknowledge your emotions, but not be ruled by them. This is where discipline comes in. Discipline is doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. It is training your mind to stick to your commitments no matter what is happening around you. One of the most powerful ways to build discipline is to create non-negotiable standards for yourself. Most people operate based on their moods, but the most successful people operate based on their standards. They don't rely on motivation, they rely on habits. They set a standard for how they show up, how they work, how they think, and they stick to it no matter what. If you want to train your mind to be strong, you must do the same. Set a standard for yourself that is higher than what is comfortable. Demand more from yourself than anyone else does. When you raise your standards, your actions follow. You stop tolerating excuses. You stop allowing distractions. You stop settling for less than you are capable of. Another key to mental training is learning to reframe challenges. Most people see challenges as obstacles, as things that hold them back. But the strongest minds see challenges as opportunities. They understand that every difficulty is a chance to grow stronger. They don't ask, why is this happening to me? They ask, how can I use this? This shift in perspective is one of the most powerful mental tools you can develop. It changes the way you experience setbacks. Instead of seeing failure as something to be feared, you see it as a stepping stone. Instead of seeing adversity as a reason to stop, you see it as fuel to push harder. This mindset is what allows people to keep going when others quit. It is what allows them to turn pain into power, struggle into strength, and obstacles into opportunities. Training your mind also means mastering the small daily habits that shape your thinking. Your morning routine, your nighttime routine, the way you start and end your day, these things matter. How you start your morning sets the tone for the rest of the day. If you begin your day in a reactive state, checking your phone, scrolling through social media, letting external forces dictate your mindset, you are already losing. But if you start your day with intention, focusing your mind, setting your goals, feeding yourself positive input, you set yourself up for success. The same goes for how you end your day. The thoughts you go to sleep with influence your subconscious. If you fill your mind with negativity before bed, that is what will be reinforced overnight. But if you end your day reflecting on your progress, reinforcing positive beliefs, and setting intentions for the next day, you are programming your mind for success. Mental training is not a one-time event. It is not something you do only when you feel like it. It is a lifelong commitment to mastering your thoughts, emotions, and focus. It is a daily process of strengthening your mental resilience, conditioning yourself for greatness, and building the habits that lead to success. The stronger your mind, the stronger your life. The more you train it, the more unstoppable you become. Your emotions are one of the most powerful forces in your life. They dictate how you think, how you act, and ultimately what kind of results you get. Most people go through life allowing their emotions to control them rather than learning how to control their emotions. They let fear hold them back, anger drive their decisions, and doubt stop them from taking action. They live in a constant state of reaction instead of being intentional about how they feel and how they respond. Empathy and optimism come from being intentional about how they feel and how they respond. The truth is, if you don't learn how to manage your emotions, they will manage you. They will dictate the quality of your relationships, the opportunities you take or miss, and the level of success you are able to achieve. The first step in mastering your emotions is understanding that they are not random. Emotions are not something that just happen to you. They are the result of three key factors: your focus, your physiology, and the meaning you attach to situations. If you want to change how you feel at any given moment, you must first change one or more of these three factors. The first and most important of these is focus. Whatever you focus on, you feel. If you focus on everything that is wrong in your life, you will feel overwhelmed, frustrated, or defeated. If you focus on possibilities, solutions, and gratitude, you will feel empowered, motivated, and strong. Most people have developed the habit of focusing on problems instead of solutions, on what they lack instead of what they have, on fears instead of opportunities. This is not because life is inherently negative, but because they have conditioned their minds to default to this way of thinking. But just as negative focus is a habit, so is positive focus. If you want to take control of your emotions, you must become deliberate about what you focus on daily. The second factor that controls emotions is physiology. Your body and your mind are deeply connected. The way you use your body, your posture, your breathing, your movement directly affects how you feel. When you are slouched over, breathing shallowly and moving sluggishly, your brain interprets this as a signal that you are feeling low energy, weak, or unmotivated. But when you stand tall, breathe deeply, and move with energy, your brain gets a completely different message. This is why you can instantly change your emotional state by changing your physical state. Have you ever noticed how difficult it is to feel depressed when you are dancing, running, or moving with power? It's because your physiology is directly tied to your emotions. If you want to shift how you feel in an instant, shift how you move your body. The third factor that shapes your emotions is the meaning you attach to events. Nothing in life has inherent meaning, only the meaning you give it. Two people can go through the exact same experience and feel completely different emotions because they assign different meanings to it. If someone loses a job, one person might see it as a devastating failure, while another might see it as an opportunity to start something better. If someone faces rejection, one person might interpret it as proof that they are not good enough, while another might see it as feedback that helps them grow. The meaning you attach to situations determines how you feel about them. If you want to take control of your emotions, you must take control of the meanings you assign to the events in your life. Instead of defaulting to disempowering meanings, consciously choose meanings that serve you. One of the most destructive emotional patterns people fall into is fear. Fear stops more dreams, destroys more potential, and limits more success than anything else. The problem is that most people believe fear is a signal to stop, when in reality, fear is a sign that you are about to grow. Every time you step outside of your comfort zone, fear will show up. It is not there to hold you back. It is there to test your commitment. Most people let fear dictate their actions. They hesitate, procrastinate, or avoid taking action altogether because they think they need to feel fearless before moving forward. But the truth is, courage is not the absence of fear. It is taking action in spite of fear. If you want to gain control over your emotions, you must learn to take action even when fear is present. The more you do this, the more you condition your mind to see fear as a sign of growth rather than a signal to stop. Another powerful emotion that can either serve you or sabotage you is anger. Most people see anger as a negative emotion, something to be suppressed or avoided. But anger, when used correctly, can be one of the most powerful forces for change. The key is not to let anger control you, but to channel it into productive action. The problem is that most people either suppress their anger or let it explode uncontrollably. Neither approach is effective. Suppressing anger only causes it to build up until it eventually comes out in destructive ways. Uncontrolled anger, on the other hand, leads to regretful decisions, broken relationships, and wasted energy. The key is to transform anger into fuel. Some of the most successful people in the world use their anger to drive them to create massive change. Instead of letting anger consume them, they turned it into a source of motivation. They got angry enough about their circumstances to take action. They used their frustration as a catalyst for transformation. Another common emotional trap is self-doubt. Everyone experiences doubt at some point. But the difference between those who succeed and those who don't is how they respond to it. Most people let doubt paralyze them. They wait until they feel confident before taking action, not realizing that confidence comes from action. You don't feel confident and then act. You act and then confidence follows. Confidence is nothing more than the result of following through, of proving to yourself that you are capable. If you struggle with self-doubt, the solution is not to wait until you feel ready. The solution is to take action despite your doubt. Every time you push through doubt, you weaken its hold over you. Every time you take a step forward in the face of uncertainty, you train your mind to trust yourself. Another critical element of emotional mastery is learning how to shift your state quickly. Most people let their emotions linger longer than necessary. They wake up feeling off, and instead of shifting their state, they carry that energy with them throughout the day. They experience a setback, and instead of moving past it, they dwell on it for hours or even days. But just as you can shift your emotions downward, you can also shift them upward in an instant. You do this by changing your focus, changing your physiology, and interrupting the pattern of the negative emotion. One of the quickest ways to shift your state is to change what you are doing physically. Stand up, move, breathe deeply, put on music that energizes you. Another way is to ask yourself powerful questions. Instead of asking, why do I feel this way? Ask, what can I focus on that empowers me right now? Your mind will always find an answer to the questions you ask it. So ask better questions. Gratitude is one of the most powerful emotional states you can cultivate. It is impossible to feel fear, anger, or stress while feeling deep gratitude at the same time. Most people focus on what they don't have, what is missing, or what is going wrong. And as a result, they feel frustrated, anxious, or discouraged. But when you shift your focus to what you do have, to the blessings in your life, your entire emotional state changes. Gratitude rewires your brain to focus on abundance rather than lack. It shifts your energy from stress to appreciation. The key is to make gratitude a daily practice. Don't wait until something big happens to feel grateful. Find something every day to appreciate, no matter how small. The more you do this, the more you condition your mind to default to gratitude rather than stress. Emotional mastery is not about suppressing emotions or pretending negative emotions don't exist. It is about learning to control your emotions instead of letting them control you. It is about recognizing that you have the power to shift your state at any moment. It is about training yourself to respond to challenges in a way that empowers you rather than weakens you. The more you practice emotional control, the more resilient you become. The more resilient you become, the more unstoppable you are. The way you speak to yourself determines the direction of your life. Your internal dialogue, what you say to yourself on a daily basis, shapes your beliefs, your confidence, and your ability to take action. Most people don't realize that they are constantly programming their minds with their words. They repeat the same phrases, the same doubts, the same limitations over and over again until those words become their reality. If you keep telling yourself that you're not good enough, that you don't have what it takes, that you'll never succeed, your brain will accept those statements as truth. But if you flip the script and begin feeding your mind with powerful, empowering language, everything starts to change. Your words are commands to your subconscious. They create the lens through which you see the world. If you want to control your mind, you must first control your language. Most people are their own worst critics. They speak to themselves in ways they would never speak to a loved one. They call themselves failures. They dwell on their mistakes. They reinforce their fears by constantly repeating negative thoughts. And the more they do this, the stronger those beliefs become. The brain is wired for repetition. Whatever you repeat consistently, it accepts as reality. This is why self-talk is so powerful. It is not just a matter of thinking positively, it is about rewiring your entire mental framework. You have to become aware of the words you use daily. Every time you say, I can't, you are reinforcing a limit. Every time you say, I'm not good at this, you are conditioning yourself to stay stuck. But the moment you shift your language, when you start saying, I am capable, I will figure it out, I am unstoppable, your brain starts to adjust. It begins finding ways to support those statements. One of the biggest traps people fall into is letting their past dictate their self-talk. They define themselves by their failures, their mistakes, or the opinions of others. They carry around the words that were spoken to them in childhood, the criticisms from teachers, parents, or peers, and they allow those words to shape their identity. But your past does not define you unless you allow it to. You have the power to rewrite your story at any moment, and it starts with changing the way you speak to yourself. Instead of saying, this is just the way I am, start saying, I am growing every day. Instead of saying, I always mess up, start saying, I learn from every experience. Instead of saying, I'm not good enough, start saying, I am more than enough. Words shape reality. When you change your self-talk, you change your beliefs. When you change your beliefs, you change your actions. And when you change your actions, you change your life. The most successful people in the world have mastered their internal dialogue. They don't allow negative self-talk to take root. When doubt creeps in, they immediately replace it with powerful affirmations. When fear shows up, they use language that reinforces courage and certainty. They understand that words have power, and they use that power to fuel their confidence and drive. This is not about ignoring challenges or pretending that struggles don't exist. It is about choosing words that empower rather than weaken. It is about taking control of the narrative in your mind rather than letting it be controlled by fear, doubt, or past failures. The language you use doesn't just affect your mindset, it affects your emotions and physiology. The words you choose create a biochemical response in your body. When you say, I am exhausted, your body responds by producing more fatigue. When you say, I am overwhelmed, your nervous system shifts into a stress response. But when you say, I have energy or I can handle this, your body adjusts accordingly. This is why elite performers use power words. They don't say, I'm nervous. They say, I'm excited. They don't say, I have to do this. They say, I get to do this. A simple shift in language creates a massive shift in emotional state. The way you describe a situation determines how you feel about it. If you call something a disaster, your brain treats it like a disaster. If you call it a challenge, your brain starts looking for ways to overcome it. Your self-talk also determines how resilient you are. When life throws obstacles your way, the way you speak to yourself will determine whether you rise above them or crumble under pressure. Most people allow setbacks to reinforce negative beliefs. When they fail, they say things like, I knew this would happen, or I'm not good at this. But resilient people use failure as fuel. They say, this is a lesson, or this is making me stronger. They use language that keeps them moving forward rather than holding them back. The key is to catch yourself in the moment. Every time you say something disempowering, stop and replace it with something empowering. If you say, I can't handle this, immediately shift to, I can figure this out. If you say, I'm stuck, shift to, I'm learning and growing. The people you surround yourself with also play a role in shaping your self-talk. If you are constantly around negativity, criticism, and doubt, it will influence the way you speak to yourself. This is why it is crucial to be intentional about your environment. Surround yourself with people who uplift you, who reinforce powerful language, who challenge you to grow rather than keep you small. Pay attention to the conversations you engage in daily. Are they filled with complaints, excuses, and limitations? Or are they filled with vision, possibility, and strength? The words you hear most often become the words you internalize. If you want to transform your self-talk, immerse yourself in an environment that supports that transformation. Another key to mastering self-talk is visualization. When you combine powerful language with a clear mental image, you create an unstoppable force in your mind. Olympic athletes, world-class performers, and top-level entrepreneurs all use visualization to reinforce positive self-talk. They don't just say, I am a champion. They see themselves winning in their minds. They don't just say, I am confident. They visualize themselves walking into a room with power and presence. The brain responds to mental images as if they are real experiences. When you repeatedly visualize success, strength, and confidence, your brain begins to rewire itself to support that reality. This is why negative self-talk is so dangerous. If you constantly picture yourself failing, struggling, or falling short, your brain will work to make that image a reality. But if you deliberately focus on empowering images, your brain will work to bring that vision to life. Self-talk is also reinforced through habits. It is not enough to say something positive once and expect a permanent change. You must make it a daily practice. Create a morning routine where you affirm your strength, your confidence, your resilience. Write down powerful statements about who you are becoming and repeat them every day. When you catch yourself slipping into old patterns of negative self-talk, interrupt the pattern immediately and replace it with something empowering. Over time, this becomes your new default. Instead of waking up with thoughts of doubt and fear, you wake up with thoughts of certainty and power. Instead of reacting to challenges with self-criticism, you respond with self-belief. The ultimate goal is to make empowering self-talk automatic. When faced with a challenge, your first instinct should be, I will find a way. When experiencing failure, your automatic response should be, this is a lesson that will make me stronger. When fear shows up, your immediate reaction should be, I am capable, I am strong, and I will overcome this. This level of mastery does not happen overnight, but it happens through consistent practice. The more you reinforce powerful language, the more it becomes who you are. Your mind is listening to every word you say. It is absorbing every phrase, every statement, every belief you reinforce. If you want to create a powerful, unstoppable mindset, you must take control of the words you speak to yourself. You must become intentional about the language you use daily. The way you talk to yourself is either building you up or breaking you down. It is either pushing you forward or holding you back. It is either strengthening you or weakening you. The choice is yours.